Hi everyone, my name is Ashley. Welcome to my first ever Booktube video, and this is my little book corner of the internet. So, today I wanted to talk about Dune by Frank Herbert. It is one of my new all-time favorite books, and I also wanted to talk about the movie adaptation that just came out, and that is Dune by Denis Villeneuve. Dune is something I have always been interested in. I've had a copy for 2 or 3 years, and I finally sat down and just told myself to read it in the summer, and I did in July. I absolutely fell in love with it. It is something I have not stopped thinking about every day since I finished the book, which is kind of crazy, but I just want to say that this review is going to be completely spoiler-free for both the book and the movie. This review is something where I wanted to focus on mostly the characterization and the themes and the world of both the book and the movie. So that is what is going to be focused on here because it is really what impacted me most with the story. First off, I just wanted to say that I found Frank Herbert's writing to be incredibly modern. It felt like I was reading a book published within the past 1 or 2 decades, and I think that really lends itself to the longevity of this book and the influence and how it has stayed so relevant within the past 50 or so years of its existence. There were so many different passages that just evoked so many emotions from me. You can see I tabbed the hell out of my book, and I genuinely tried to tab intentionally and deliberately, and I just clearly found almost every page important in one way or another. And I really think the world that Frank Herbert creates here is just so vivid and so imaginative. I think the existence of Arrakis and how it interacts with the people indigenous to it and how it reacts to the people who aren't indigenous to it is very interesting to think about. And there really is this sort of central theme to Dune about ecology and human control that I find so interesting. And I think there's this sort of misconception about Dune that it is a white savior story, and I feel like those criticisms are very valid. I'm not gonna tell you that they are wrong to feel that way. But I personally see Dune as this sort of story about colonization. I think it takes the beloved trope of the chosen one and turns it on its head. I think Frank Herbert really asks the question, what if the chosen one was used as a tool for the ruling class, aka the Bene Gesserit? It is very messy, it's complicated, you like these characters even though some of them are part of this greater group of people who are kind of inherently evil. And I'm kind of obsessed with Lady Jessica and all of her complexities. I think she very clearly cares about her son and his needs and his livelihood, and at the same time, she kind of enacted this very huge something on him, literally bred him for it, and it just causes his life to be so different from what it normally would be, and we clearly see the consequences of that in her own brain, and she is dealing with the implications that she really brought this horrible thing upon her son, and she's kind of being pulled so many directions by her son, by the Duke, by the Bene Gesserit, by the Reverend Mother. She's just, I don't know, I just find it so interesting to read about her. I think she is, without a doubt, the most compelling character in Dune, and I don't know, I think she's just an excellent character. I am also obsessed with Paul Atreides. I think he is one of my new favorite characters just in fiction. In the sort of months I've lived post Dune and the time I've spent thinking about it after my initial read, I've spent a lot of that time thinking about Paul and how he is shaped by the people around him, and specifically Lady Jessica and Chani and so many others, how all of these people and these issues and these new revelations compound upon one each other, and it kind of culminates into this sort of breakdown in a certain scene of the book, which I just found very excellent, and how all of these things happening to him manifests in the way he rules and leads for better or for worse. And I am a Wheel of Time fan, so like, if you know, you know. I think Paul and Randall Thor are so similar. Randall Thor is one of my favorite characters ever, so to think about that while reading Dune really just kind of made me go insane because I was thinking about all the parallels. And I say that because, I don't know, I think I really like stories like that. So yeah, I could say so much more about Dune the book, but I do want the bulk of this review to be about Dune the movie, so let's talk about that now. So right off the bat, I was really excited with the announcement of Denis Villeneuve directing Dune because he is one of my favorite directors ever. Arrival is one of my favorite films ever, and so just to be able to see the amount of appreciation and care he has for the book and the world was very exciting for me. And I don't know, I just think his passion for this book really shines through for me. And I think in one interview he describes his process for making Dune and Arrakis specifically, and he says something like, I wanted to make it seem like the camera couldn't get all of the world in one frame, and I think that really shines through. You truly just feel the vastness of Arrakis. I just think that perfectly describes how he crafted the movie and his thought process, which I really appreciated. It really enhanced my experience watching the movie. I personally felt the sweltering heat of the desert while watching the movie. I mean, the rolls in the sand, they felt like waves in the ocean to me. I was literally emotional over palm trees burning in a certain scene of the movie, so like, I think that just really shows the illusory images that he crafted, and I think it really just shows how invested he was in making Arrakis as real to the viewers as possible. I thought the movie was phenomenal. I went to bed thinking about it, and I woke up thinking about it, so I think that's a good sign, I think. Obviously, when you read the book and then you watch the movie, you come out of it thinking there are so many moments in the book that happened character-wise, getting inside these people's heads that you really don't see. I mean, my favorite chapter in Dune, one of them at least, is the dinner chapter, where it is this dinner party scene, and it is just fully not in the movie at all whatsoever. But like, then you look back and think about how this movie is nearly 3 hours long, and every moment in the movie that was in it needed to be there, at least in my opinion. And I don't know, it didn't take away from my enjoyment. I still think it is a very good adaptation nonetheless. So let's talk about actors. I think that Timothée Chalamet was excellent as Paul. I think he really captured him very well. I think Rebecca Ferguson really captured the essence of Jessica. Dr. Kynes was great. I think Denis making the decision to have the character be a woman was a good one. I think Dr. Kynes overall is someone who is attached to the world and Arrakis and its potential, and I think those elements weren't really explored to the extent that it was in the book, that it was in the movie. And I don't know if Denis is really leaning on those themes of the book in the movies as much as I would like him to, but I don't know. We definitely get more of Dr. Kynes' history with the world and as a character more in the book. Oscar Isaac was good. I think there definitely could have been more room for elaboration on the Duke Leto and how he is as a ruler and a leader. There was a quote in the trailer and in the book that I think really just captures the Duke incredibly well, and it was not in the movie, which is so disappointing, but the quote goes, I'm not even going to try to quote it, I'll just put a clip of it here because it was in the trailer.
You inherit too much power. You have proven you can rule yourself. Now you must learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned.
My father rules an entire planet.
He's losing it.
getting a richer one.
He'll lose that one too.
But yeah, that quote perfectly describes the Duke Leto in my opinion. And I think it just perfectly encapsulates the Atreides as a whole and the issues with the way that they rule, and it also makes Leto's eventual fate much more tragic in my opinion. So disappointing that that wasn't in the movie, and I kind of feel like this with the entire adaptation. I think there's this sort of sense of us really not knowing the characters to the extent that we do in the book. I think Lady Jessica, we don't know her past enough. I don't know, I just felt like there was not enough time to fully go into the motivations of the characters, how they act, why they move, what they do. And I've seen those criticisms and I agree with them, but it somehow didn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie. I think because I know in my head why these characters are doing these things, I didn't question it as much from a narrative standpoint, but I can see someone who's never read the book being confused by the way some things went down. But overall, a very good movie to me. I don't even know how to fully explain or show how much I loved it. It was definitely somewhere in 4 stars for me. I don't like star ratings, but just to give you guys like a picture of it, I think as a movie it was 5 stars, and as an adaptation a little bit lower, but still a new all-time favorite movie for me. I thought it was just wonderful. So yeah, I know I did not cover everything in the slightest about the book or the movie, but yeah, I talked about the things that stood out to me the most, and I also am coming from this from a place of only reading the first book, so my scope of the overall theme is obviously going to be very skewed, so keep that in mind. But yes, that was my first ever booktube video. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.